Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. The winds picked up and a roof blew off in Berwick this afternoon. Heavy winds ripped off the roof at an apartment building in the Briar Creek Manor housing complex. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci says 4 people lost their homes, and now it's time to pick up the pieces.
The house on Briar Creek Lane was a shambles, its roof laying all over the street.
No sightseers. That's all we need.
Authorities were busy trying to keep sightseers away, so tenants who lived in the home could get their belongings out before the rain damaged them. It's not clear just what kind of a storm did all the damage. Some people described a big black rain cloud.
What do you think it was? A tornado? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea.
There's no estimate yet on the amount of damage to the home. To prevent any injuries, the superintendent pulled down hanging pieces of gutter that remained. In the meantime, to prevent electrical shocks and electrical fires, PP&L has cut electricity in the house, while the 4 tenants who called this place home look for a place to stay tonight. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Berwick.
This certainly has not been the best weather for the Bloomsburg Fair. Newswatch 16's Karen Harch is live at the fair. Karen, is it still raining out over there?
It's not raining right now, but as you said, the heavy rains did put a damper on the fair earlier this afternoon. But as you can see behind me, look at the crowds. They're all waving. The crowds have come back. But just a few hours ago, those crowds had to run for cover when the clouds burst open, and a heavy downpour sent fairgoers searching for shelter. There are a lot of places here, though, at the Bloomsburg Fair where you can find cover, and the people who planned ahead and brought along their umbrellas did not seem to mind the rain at all. And at least it's not really cold. It's kind of warm out, so I don't think the rain really spoiled things too much. Meteorologist Tom Clark is here now. Tom, it looks like it's clouding up again.
It is, Karen, and I've got a crowd behind me, too. What a group here. It does look a little cloudy now. We had some sun earlier. Those thunderstorms that came through were part of a squall line that was coming through well out ahead of a cold front. That front has yet to come through, but they were moving at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. It's possible the wind damage in Berwick could have been a twister or just simply some downburst winds of up to 50 miles per hour. I'll have a complete forecast a little bit later on. Karen?
Okay, thanks, Tom. And my advice, if you're planning to come to the fair tonight, wear some old shoes because you're going to find some mud. Now let's go back to Nolan.
Okay, Karen, thank you. In Scranton tonight, 200 workers at a big manufacturing plant will not lose their jobs after all. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds tells us why the jobs have been saved at the Chamberlain manufacturing plant.
Because of security concerns, this is something you usually don't see. The inside of the Chamberlain plant in Scranton. It's here where artillery shells are made for the Army. It's also here where officials feared they'd have to lay off 200 people because of a slowdown.
You don't want to make any big investments or large bills, so it's always a threat. It's good to have some good news.
That news is that Joseph Leary's job and 200 others have been saved, at least for another year. The Army has awarded Chamberlain a contract to produce 100,000 artillery shells for $42 million.
With a contract of that size, we're going to look at a more secure plant that will be able to do what it's done for so many years, and that's compete effectively at low cost and with quality against everybody in the country and beat them up.
Word of the Army contract means a lot, even to those who have seniority at the plant.
It gets a little weary because, you know, like you say, you're working 22 years. You know, how far are they going to go down? If it's going to be 200, 300, 400 people.
During the Vietnam War, over 1,000 people worked at the Chamberlain plant. That number is now down to about 800.
Over the last 23 years, the Chamberlain plant has cranked out 15 million shells. Of course, that's very important to the Army, but it's also very important to our local economy because the Chamberlain plant has provided a lot of jobs for a lot of area people. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
Reports of alleged drug abuse by some U.S. Air crew members have some doctors wondering whether our laws should be changed. Pennsylvania law prohibits doctors from telling police about drug use by some patients, such as pilots. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini is in our newsroom now with more on the push to change that law. Bob?
Nolan, one Shamokin doctor likened it to the relationship between a priest and someone in the confessional.
But an American Medical Association lawyer suggests doctors consider the public safety over the traditional doctor-patient confidentiality ethic. The AMA official is responding to reports of a U.S. air pilot near death from a cocaine overdose in Pittsburgh. The pilot's identity remains secret because of doctor-patient confidentiality.
We rely a lot on that confidentiality to get, the truth from people and to have them expose all the factors involved in their case.
Dr. Jerry Wagner is chief of staff at Shamokin State General Hospital and a family practitioner. He says doctors breaching patient confidentiality, even if public safety is at stake, would only make patients clam up about drug or alcohol problems, and they might never get help. But there are cases where a doctor is required by law to tell others of a patient's problem. Say, for example, an emergency room doctor who treats a victim of child abuse, rape, or gunshot wound. It was in that setting that Dr. Edward Twigger was forced to testify against an accident victim he treated.
In a case where there was a homicide by vehicle involving someone who had been drinking heavily. But I think the general rule is that when a crime has been involved, then the physician must answer appropriate questions put to him by the appropriate law enforcement people.
Now, the only time a doctor must give details of a patient who potentially may affect public safety is on medical exam forms, such as those for a driver's license application. And that leaves us with an obvious rhetorical question. If a doctor can try to prevent someone from driving as a possible threat to others, why can't he try to prevent a drug alcohol abuser from flying a plane or running a train? Well, under Pennsylvania law, as it stands right now, that would be directly against a patient's confidentiality rights. Nolan?
Okay, Bob, thank you. And coming up, we'll go back to the Bloomsburg Fair and Karen Harch.
Nolan, when we come back, we'll tell you how the fair is bringing back the 60s tonight, plus why a fair just would not be a fair without farm animals, all as Newswatch 16 continues.
Every year in Pennsylvania, it comes with the October wind. But this sorcery that turns forests into cold and fields into festivals leaves as quickly as it comes. It's here in Pennsylvania now. Come, catch the fall before it leaves.
Since 1896, Kaplan Furniture of Scranton has been delivering quality furniture into northeastern Pennsylvania's homes. Kaplan still stands out as a star above the rest.
I'm surrounded by beautiful choices of design by Bernhardt, one of America's finest manufacturers. Many different bedroom and dining room sets in traditional, contemporary, and country styles at a savings of 30%. The Bernhardt Gallery is a complete showroom where you can make some beautiful choices.
Kaplan Furniture Company of Scranton, a star above the rest.
Well, the man that many people in our area know as the Polish Prince will be performing in Wilkes-Barre tonight. Bobby Vinton is tonight's star attraction at the Kirby Center for the Performing Arts. This afternoon, Vinton told Mark Davis how he's managed to stay popular for the past 25 years.
My attitude is something that I think people can relate to, a time when they grew up, a time when the music that I sing was what they enjoyed, and that's what was happening around the country, and it brings back a lot of memories, probably their first boyfriend, their first kiss, their first love affair, and I kind of bring all that back.
Vinton says he's happy to perform at the new Kirby Center. He told Mark Davis it's better than playing at Carnegie Hall. Of course, there are also a lot of big-name acts performing this week at the Bloomsburg Fair. Newswatch 16's Karen Harch is back with us now to tell us who's on the stage tonight. Karen?
Well, Nolan, a real treat for my generation tonight. Get this, the Monkees, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, Herman's Hermits, and the Grassroots all playing here tonight. And, of course, those bands were very popular back in the 60s, and the Monkees are doing their 20th anniversary world tour, so the Bloomsburg Fair is one stop on that tour. You know you're getting old when you were a Monkees fan the first time around, but nevertheless, the Monkees and all the other groups are performing at 6 and at 8:30 tonight. So a lot of fun here, and it's just in time because today is Student Day, a lot of young people here at the fair. In fact, college students get in for free today. All week long, high school students get in for free. And a lot of the kids from the area have the week off from school, or at least Friday, and a lot of them work at the concession stands here at the Bloomsburg Fair. Now, there are a lot of other people who spend year after year working here. Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine spent some time with a man who has worked here for 30 years, and Valerie's live now to tell us about it.
Well, Karen, if you're one of those people who likes to visit the animals at the fair, like some of these folks, then chances are good you've met Fred Giger. Now, Fred turned 78 years old yesterday. He spent the past 30 years of his life working as the livestock superintendent at the Bloomsburg Fair. These days, you're liable to find Fred Giger sitting down. He retired from his job as livestock superintendent last year so he could take it easy. Now he spends time with his son and grandson teaching them about livestock and judging, but he admits he can't get away from the animals.
I like them. I'd rather deal with animals than with people. You can talk to an animal, but you can't people a lot of them.
With Fred Giger playing a supporting role at the livestock barn, the search was on for a new superintendent. Fred's son, John Giger, has taken over the job this year, but he says he couldn't do it without his father's help.
He was a good teacher. Just keep treading the same way he tread. Hopefully the next 30 years will bring, for the next generation, my son's interested in fairs. I think coming up the road, I hope that everybody can enjoy the livestock end of the Bloomsburg Fair for many, many years to come.
Now, the Gigers tell me the one tradition they'd like to see carried on here at the Bloomsburg Fair is the fact that it's an agricultural type of fair. Both father and son agree after 30 years it just wouldn't be the same if all of these folks couldn't walk through the pens and pet the animals. Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam at the Bloomsburg Fair. Karen?
Thanks, Valerie. You know, there's also another service here at the Bloomsburg Fair that you may not think about it until you really need it. The Red Cross is set up here. They have an emergency station that's open from morning till midnight. The most common complaints, bee stings, headaches, and a lot of upset stomachs. I can see why with all the food. But the Red Cross also deals with serious problems such as heart attacks. Volunteers can get to any part of the fairgrounds, and they can transport you to a hospital if necessary. Well, next, meteorologist Tom Clark will let us know if we'll see any sunshine here at the fair. Tom?
We will, Karen, and also when we come back, I'll tell you if we have any more thunderstorms heading our way. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Shamokin and all of Northumberland County.
Just for the light of it, the smooth taste of it. Just for the just for the taste of it. From Coca-Cola.
Discover the difference in fine custom cabinetry. Discover Wood Mode.
Convenient.
Everything you need at your fingertips.
Efficiency.
Wasted space is a thing of the past.
Capacity.
Shop all you want. You've got the place for it.
Variety.
More storage ideas and convenience features than you can imagine.
From Wood Mode.
America's best-selling line of custom-built cabinetry.
Visit your Wood Mode dealer for his National Kitchen and Bath Week open house.
We have a correction to make tonight. Last night on Newswatch 16 Update, we gave you an address for a listing of the gas mileage ratings on the new cars. Well, it turns out that a government worker gave us the wrong address. If you'd like the government guide to new car gas mileage, the correct address is Gas Mileage Guide, Consumer Information Center, Pueblo, California. The zip code is 81009. Well, we do not want any more rain like we had this afternoon. How about it, Tom?
Well, guess what, Nolan?
What?
It's starting to rain now at the fair. How many people have brought their umbrella with them today, huh? Yeah. They were watching the show last night then. Very good. We had some sun, and then it clouded up again, and now we have some light rain falling, and another big crowd despite some dismal skies overhead. Where are you folks from?
Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Larksville.
Larksville, okay. Let's check in with our current temperature now in the backyard, and we run down the readings, and we have readings that are in the 60s for the most part. 67 degrees, humidity 90%, the wind southwest at 9, the barometer at 29.8 inches of mercury, and it's rising. The range in temperature today, well, we hit 76 with some sun, 60 the morning low. How about those thunderstorms at dawn today? 91 the record high, and 1.5 inches of rain in my backyard today. That's the most intense rainfall we've had in 31 days. So we needed it. And there's the view of the giant Ferris wheel here at the Bloomsburg Fair. A lot of rides to take advantage of. Now, I want to show you a satellite view. We had a leading edge of warm air that came through the state last night with some big thunderstorms. That cold front now entering western Pennsylvania will be coming through later on this evening, and we will see a few more scattered showers with it, but no more heavy thunderstorms for the rest of tonight and for all of tomorrow, for that matter. That front coming through, some drier air coming in. I do not expect any rain tomorrow. A partly sunny day and temperatures comfortable in the 70s. Let's check that sunrise for tomorrow morning. That will be at 6:53, and the sun setting now at 6:58. Happy autumn, everybody. Cloudy skies overnight. Some light rain showers early this evening. Nothing heavy, no damaging weather is expected. There will be some patchy fog, especially in the mountains. 63 the low overnight, not all that cool. Partly sunny tomorrow. Again, it should be rain-free. 73 the high. On Thursday, partly sunny once again. First of all, dry tomorrow evening, and then Thursday, not too bad. More rain is possible from late Thursday into Friday, and there could be some rain again over the weekend. So that's it from the fair at this end. Tim Carlson's at the other end. Tim?
Well, thanks a lot, Tom. And, of course, we'll be talking about the horse racing they're doing this week at the Bloomsburg Fair on the Sports Watch, plus a gentleman who's a new millionaire in the NBA.
Introducing Wendy's new Big Classic hamburger. This is the good stuff. The soft Kaiser bun, the fat tomatoes. This is the good stuff. The fresh toppings, the beef. This is the good stuff. Wendy's new Big Classic. One bite, one taste, one look, you'll see. This is the one the other burgers want to be. This is the good stuff. Wendy's new Big Classic. Can't get enough. This is the good stuff.
These are 18 features or benefits that an Alaska Stoker stove has to offer over any wood stove. All are concerned with safety and convenience. Spend a half hour learning about the remarkable Stoker stoves. You may go home with the Stoker stove that can replace your fireplace insert or your freestanding wood stove, or one for the basement. See one burning today, the Stoker stove.
Well, we're giving a lot of publicity to that gas mileage number, and we're going to keep giving it till we get it right. Here's the address, in case you were taking it down, for the gas mileage guide. We gave you the wrong state when we read it last time, so here it is, the gas mileage guide, Consumer Information Center, Pueblo, Colorado, and the zip code is 81009 to find out about new car gas mileage. All right, here's a guy that gets the scores right all the time. Let's go back out to Bloomsburg and Tim Carlson. Tim?
Thanks a lot, Nolan. And I'm enjoying the Monkees concert and the Grassroots. They're over here behind me playing while the Bloomsburg Fair continues. Earlier today, right here on the racetrack, there was an interesting harness race. We're going to tell you about that in just a second. But the big news of the day, I guess, is that there's another multimillionaire in the NBA, and he's a guy that I must admit is pretty exciting to watch. Dominique Wilkins, the NBA's leading scorer last season with an average just over 30 points per game, signed a new 5-year contract with the Atlanta Hawks. The flashy forward will get a reported $6.5 million over the length of the contract. That works out to $1.1 this season and $1.3 million in the remaining 4 years. Wilkins is best known by NBA fans for his thrilling slam dunks. I like to call him the Duke of Dunk, and now he has more money than most of the real Dukes in England. For sure. That's a lot of money to play basketball, and why not? A few afternoon baseball games, including the National League East champion New York Mets, playing last year's National League champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. The Mets are closing in on the 100-win mark, looking for win number 99 today, and Bobby Ojeda, the pitcher, looking for his 17th win. Let's pick it up, and the Mets were playing long ball. That's Ray Knight with home run number 10 of the year, and that made it 4-0 Mets after 1 inning with the score 4-1 in the 4th. This is Keith Hernandez, and he nails a shot to right field. It'll go for a solo homer, and it's 5-1 Mets. Then Darryl Strawberry. Look at this one. He hits some moonshots. Home run number 23 of the year. And the finals, we take a look at the scoreboard. The Mets win it over St. Louis 9-1. Bobby Ojeda wins his 17th. The Mets now have 99 wins on the year. Other games this afternoon, Montreal beats Chicago 10-5. In the second inning now, San Diego and Atlanta are scoreless. One game in the American League. In the 9th, Oakland leads Chicago 4-3. One of the most interesting and exciting attractions here at the Bloomsburg Fair, as we've been telling you, is horse racing, and that is harness racing. And one of the most interesting facts that we found out about racing here is the variety of folks that get involved. It's a good bet that if you name a profession, you'll find someone from that walk of life racing here at Bloomsburg. Take, for example, Rick and Fritz Beinauer. They're a father and son team, and they're normally morticians, but they leave the serious stuff at home a couple of weeks out of the year just to drive harness here. Then there's a former physical education teacher, Joe Cassidy, who did one too many push-ups and opted for the sulky instead. Or how about 67-year-old Paul Nace? He had hip surgery just to get back into a sulky seat. And for 20-year-old Todd Shadle, it's his first real job, training for the big tracks. He's an apprentice driver. You'll see and hear from all of them tomorrow on the Midday Sports Watch with Jay Christopher. Later in the week, we'll be talking about the Automobile Demolition Derby that'll be going on here at the Bloomsburg Fair. And Nolan, it's just starting to rain, so if you don't mind, I'm going to throw it back to you, and I'll see you tonight on the update.
Okay. Take an easy trip back, if you will, Tim and Karen. And ahead, our man on the Pennsylvania Road finds another fine food stand at the fair filled with tradition when Newswatch 16 continues.
Now Slice has 10% fruit juices in a new soft drink. New Mandarin Orange Slice.
We got the juice, we got the jazz.
10% juice.
A great new taste that no one has. We got the juice, we got the twist. We got the crush and sun-kissed and mist.
Mandarin Orange.
We got the juice, we got the splash. Orange Slice, we got the taste that no one has. On ice, we got the juice.
Diet, too.
Orange Slice.
Here's Joe Amato, top fuel champion and president of A&A Auto Parts Stores.
Driving my top fuel dragster at speeds up to 270 miles per hour, I lay my life on the line. I need the best name brand parts available, so I rely on A&A Auto Parts Stores for the highest quality parts at the lowest prices.
Castrol 10W40 or 20W50 on sale this week, only 94 cents a quart after rebate.
A&A Auto Parts. If I can rely on them, so can you.
Visit the A&A Auto Parts store near you.
Finally tonight, a lot of people at the Bloomsburg Fair come here year after year, as I'm sure a lot of these people have, and no doubt they'll be back again. There's a lot of tradition here at the fair. Our man on the Pennsylvania Road, Mike Stevens, spoke to one of those people who's been coming here for more than a half-century.
For 61 years, this has been Hugh Gross's spot. No one else need apply. Hugh mostly spends his time these days pouring sodas and doing other light work. He deserves a break away from the grill full of sausage and onions.
Well, my father was in it, and I got started in it before I was out of high school. That's how I got started in it.
He was 17 years old then. Today, Hugh Gross is nearing 78. That is 61 years of the Bloomsburg Fair and others the family works during the summer. I always wonder why people stay with some things so long. Hugh's answer is simple enough.
I just like the business, always did. That's the reason I never got out of it.
What do you want?
One small orange and 2 medium colas.
Well, there's a couple more 15-hour days at the fair for Hugh and the rest of the folks at the stand. He'll get more rest than in the past, but Hugh will be here for all of them. In fact, his son thinks there's only one thing that could keep him away.
My son tells me they'll carry me away in a box off of the midways. I said, all right, that's a good way to go.
This is Hugh's spot. Has been for a lot of years. As far as anyone can figure, no one else need apply. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road at the Bloomsburg Fair.
Yes, Mike always finds the food, and I smell so many different kinds of food. I'm starving. I can't wait to eat. Let's talk to some of these kids. I know your name's Amy. What did you have to eat today?
Tell her what you ate.
What did you eat?
Pizza.
Oh, pizza. What did you have?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. What about you?
Waffles and ice cream.
Waffles, and I am getting so hungry. What did you eat today?
Nothing yet.
Nothing. Okay, you can have dinner with me. Well, Nolan, we're going to go and eat, and I'll bring something back for you, too. That's Newswatch 16 from the Bloomsburg Fair.
Okay, Karen, I don't deserve it, but I'll accept it. Thank you. Be sure to join us tonight on The Update when we'll be finding out if tourists from our area are still afraid to travel to Europe. For the team, including the crew at Bloomsburg, have a nice evening. Good night.